to Plan for Productivity. For those of you who are new, my name is Andrea, and in today's video, we're finally talking about the monthly reflection. I have been talking about this for months on my Instagram, and I am finally just recording the video. So let's just get started. What's the point of a monthly reflection? A monthly reflection is basically just a little checklist that I go through at the end of the month, at the beginning of the new month, just to kind of get an idea of where I'm at in my goals, in my life, what I've been doing for the previous month, and how I feel about it so that I can make a better decision for the upcoming month. It's just a little bit of time to be mindful. Just so you get an idea, I do reflections every week, month, quarter, and year. I know that sounds like a lot. You don't have to do nearly as many, but they all have a different purpose. The weekly reflection is all about the hustle, what I'm doing, how my life is looking, and how I can make sure to stay on top of everything. The monthly reflection is really a lot about my life, my routines, my habits, you know, my daily schedule. The quarterly reflection is all about my goals. That's where I go plan them, where I make sure how I'm going to get them done, and I really dive deeply into what I actually want to do. And the yearly reflection is, I guess, about my dreams. What are the things that I would like to do someday, and just a little bit more of a hopeful reflection than kind of like getting into the nitty-gritty details. Whenever you do reflections, whatever you do, the important thing is to just sit down and be able to analyze your life as often as possible. Some people are limited to just doing it in December and the New Year's, and I think that's just a little bit too far away from actually being able to take those things that you reflected upon and turn them into action. So, which is why I try to do it at least once a month, whatever is easier for you guys to do. So in this video, we're just focusing on the monthly reflection. As you can see, they all serve a different purpose, but you can combine a little bit of these elements in order to make one reflection as often as you like that will actually serve you and your life and the things that you're working towards. So let me know in the comments if you guys want to know more about the other two. I already did the weekly reflection. You guys can check that out, but I can make sure to get those videos out for you if you guys want it. So let me just walk you through a checklist and tell you more or less what it is that I am reflecting about during this session. So the first thing is the month's priority. So at the beginning of the month, I try to state what my focus for the month will be, my priority. Just to give you an example, it can be like when I was finishing the book, the focus was always just to work as much as possible on the book. When I started the YouTube channel, it was all about that. So like I try to have something that I'm gonna focus on most of my energy throughout the month. So I try to reflect on whether I did that, why I did or didn't do that, and if I want to do the same thing the following month. Because just because you committed to doing something, let's say in November, it doesn't mean you have to follow through in December if you don't think that works for you. The second thing I go through is the monthly wins. This is super important, and whenever you're gonna do a little analysis session, I try to start with something positive because first of all, we don't really recognize how much we actually get done in a day, let alone in an entire month. So it's important to be able to be proud of yourself, of the things that you actually achieved, and also be able to look at how much or how important the things that you achieved were. If you have very little on your monthly wins list, then it's probably an indication that something has got changed. Then I go a little bit into the details of my life, and I try to figure out what are the things that did or didn't work in my routines mainly. So, you know, I was trying to go work out at 6 in the morning. Is that working for me? Should I do it in the afternoon? Little things like that that I actually actively tried to work on throughout the month. I try to analyze if they worked or didn't work. Very simple. And this is a space for me to be able to brain dump all the things that I think are not working, and these could be very little things. I go through something similar on my weekly reflection checklist. In this one, I also mentioned that I go through the things that are or not working on my life. But the difference is that when I'm doing it there's very little things. So for example, I'm not drinking enough water. It could probably be because I don't have my water bottle with a straw, which makes me drink more water. Something super simple and stupid like that. This, I'm looking at bigger things like when I'm working out, how my schedule is set up, how I am being focused throughout the day, bigger things like that that are either working or not working for me. And if they're not working, how can I improve them on the next month? If this is something simple and actionable, I'll try to implement it for the next month. And if not, it'll stay on my things I wish I were doing list that I can then implement, you know, on the next quarter or the next year or whatever. After I've dealt with that and just brain dump that list, I go into my goals. This is a big part of the reflection because I try to plan goals on a monthly basis. So this really helps me to, stay proactive with my goals and stay on top of them. So I take this session pretty intensely, so I just look at all of my goals, each one of them, and I ask myself a few questions. First of all, did I achieve it or not? Did my approach to that goal work? Why it did or why it didn't? If it didn't, do I want to pursue it next month? Is it still something that I want in my life? And how can I improve on actually getting it done? So I try to really go into the details as much as possible of every single goal that I had for that month, which is usually a limited number between 3 and 5, and I hyper analyze what I did to actually achieve it. And again, if you want some more guidance on that, I did a video on goal planning, at least for like long-term goal planning, that you guys can check out. All of this, including my monthly reflection and that goal planning, and everything is based on what I propose on my book, Journal Planning Magic. So if you guys are interested, all the links will be below. After I've done all the details, I like to almost close because I still have a few more questions, but this session was something, a big conclusion, something positive, and I try to write down one positive lesson that I learned from that month. The question really that I have in mind is, how did I grow this month? What did I learn? What did I gain for myself? What routines made me a better person, etc. Just one thing that I can take away from this month into my life. And once I've done all that reflection, which you saw was 5 questions, I go into 2 more things for the upcoming month, where I'm already starting to think about how I'm going to apply this for the next month. And the first one is the new habits and policies. I got this one from Michelle B. She's great at doing all of these little checklists and organization, and very similar to this channel. If you guys want to check her out, I'll leave the links below as well. This new habits and policies is basically, what little things do I want to incorporate into my routine, into what habits do I want to build that I think I really need, either right now or in my life in general. I just try to brain dump those. That doesn't mean I'm going to do it the next month, but I at least evaluate that possibility. And if it's necessary in order to achieve those goals that I want to keep working on, I try to set up a new policy for the next month. So let me give you an example. Let's say that I'm trying to work out 3 times a week. So for example, I'm going to wake up and immediately go work out, or I'm going to make sure that I got my workout in before I start working. Or I could change the entire routine up and say, before dinner I have to have a workout in. Something like that, very simple, that can give me an idea of how I can keep moving forward for those goals. And then finally, the last piece of the checklist kind of bridges me to the beginning, which is, what is the next month's focus? And I make sure that I have that statement before I start planning for the upcoming month. And that is it. It is 7 questions that I go through every single month. Actually, that's a lie. I try to do it every single month, but some months it doesn't happen. And honestly, I was looking through my bullet journal to show you guys pictures these past 6 months, and I can see a huge difference in the months that I didn't do a reflection and the months that I did. And it was usually like, did one, didn't do the next one, because if I didn't do the reflection, I would have such a hard time during the month that at the end of the month, I wanted to do the next reflection to have a better month. And that was my cycle this 6 months. But 2020 has been a little hard on all of us. So I forgot what I was saying. I try to do this as much as possible, and honestly, it is just a very simple, you can do this in 10 minutes if you want to, or take an hour if you want to, but all you need to do is just be intentional about it. Sit down, go through the checklist of your own. You can make your own if you want. I dive a lot deeper into that topic in my book, but the idea is that if you just take that little moment to be mindful and intentional about your life, at the end of the month, you'll probably have a much better outcome of the upcoming month. And that's the whole point of this routine anyways, right? And in case you're interested in the details, I have a template for this in my Notion, and that's where I have the checklist and I read off of the questions. But I answer these in my bullet journal because I like to keep the record of it. I like to look back on it when I'm doing planning, and I just think that writing by hand is so much more free thinking for me than doing it in my computer, so that's why I do reflections by hand. And that's normally the way I do it. At the end of the month, before I plan the next one, I just open my Notion, take out my little bullet journal, and do a little bit of reflecting. And that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it and you found something useful. If you did, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I would love to have you guys back here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.